In this city in the southern hemisphere, people from all over the world came together. Since the 18th century, people from Europe, America, and Asia have migrated to this land full of opportunities and comforts. With the development of globalization, more and more restaurants gather in Adelaide, the southern city of Australia. Anyone who wants to taste food from all around the world just need to go out and enjoy.
我的名字叫战浩翔，然后我们蜀香坊的话是07年开的，然后至今应该13年，然后在全澳也有10来家的分店，分别在悉尼啊、墨尔本，然后布里斯班还有阿德这边。
My name is Stephen Lee. I'm the owner at Plus 82 Mini. So we have different brands in Adelaide. So we have Plus 82 Pocha, which is street food Korean restaurant, and we have Plus 82 Gogi, which is Korean barbecue, and we have Plus 82 Mimi, which is like a Korean tapas, bit of fusion, and the authentic Korean food.
Hi, I'm Tony Curcio. I'm the owner, proprietor of the Messy Tomato Cafe here in Flinders Street in the CBD, where we like to have a lot of fun with our customers, mainly to their own expense, of course.
川菜里面有一个火锅，然后火锅的话呢，我们是比较特别的，就是说，你自己点了一个汤，像鸳鸯锅这样，然后呢，你可以自取一些食材。然后放到锅里面煮，就跟传统的有些不一样，就传统可能会厨师帮你做好了，然后拿出来，但是在川菜这个火锅上面呢，你是可以感受到你做菜的感觉吧。火锅的一些食材上面，然后就说客人看到，譬如像一些内脏类，像猪血啊、毛肚啊这些，外国客人看到会觉得，这个看起来。就内脏类他们会有点难以接受，但是我们觉得还是要跟他解释一下，其实这个东西做出来的味道其实好吃的，你们可以去大胆去尝试一下。
The Korean food involves a lot of seasoning. We use a lot of different. I think that mainly the seasoning because it can be quite salty and very hot as well, like spicy. Because we use a lot of spicy ingredients. We use a lot of different seasonings in Korean food, just like the chili powder, a lot of garlic, and we use a lot of kimchi in our dishes as well. And we make our own kimchi, which is quite special. And yeah, different cities have different tastes of kimchi. Which is very, I think it's all famous worldwide now, the Korean kimchi.
We all hear about, special ingredients. There's nothing special about the ingredients. It's the combination of the ingredients. And if they're used in the right manner, they will bring out the flavours of the main elements. What we go through here at the Messy when the new menu comes up, which there's a new one coming up, it's a collective process of the chefs, the managers, the front of house, collectively sampling the food. One policy we have here, if after we've eaten some of the new meals and we say that was good, the policy is good is not good enough. It has to be outstanding. So it isn't so much about the special ingredients, it's about enhancing the flavours. Combinations obviously is very important.
在采购这方面呢，就说我们的原材料，我们像辣椒、花椒这些，我们会从国内进，然后因为要做到一个就比较正宗的一个味道，就会从那边进。但是呢，有一些食材的话，就是黑毛肚那些，这边能买得到，但是呢，说实话口感还有那些味道，可能还是没有四川那边那么正宗，就吃起来还是会有一点区别。用一个烹饪的手法吧，用比较正宗一点的烹饪手法来做这个菜，尽量去达到这个菜原来的那个味道。
So the special habit in Korean the food culture is everything really open till late as well. So a lot of people actually dine until late with friends, family, and of course the Korean fried chicken and beer is very popular, which is the whole food culture in Korea is very live. It's 24/7. So there's a lot of restaurants open until 24/7 as well. So yeah.
So since my family's been in Australia, my father came out in 1954, so he's been here most of his life. The good thing, or the thing that I've always grown up to, and I've known any different, is the massive gatherings. I remember gathering at my grandfather's house where we'd cook in massive pots, and my aunties and my mum would gather around with plates and serve it out in long, long tables. There was happiness there. It was a great feeling, and we've retained that for over 70 years.
澳洲的饮食文化呢，他们会比较在意原味、原汁原味，所以他们用的材料或者食材就比较简单一点。然后呢，但是在四川文化来说呢，他们可能就会说水煮牛肉啊，然后宫保啊，还有一些像干煸，还有鱼香这些呢，他们做法比较复杂，就吃起来会有一种层次感。所以的话，这个做法代表了一个四川的口味以外，我觉得还代表一个四川文化。就是你到了一家餐馆，如果你想吃水煮牛肉，你就会知道这是一个四川菜，就不会说是其他地方的菜。
So the difference between Korean food culture and Australian food culture is Korean food has been carried on for quite a long time. And still some of the dishes we carry on to the current generations as well. Where Australian food culture is very broad because it's been multicultural country. So they offer different range of cuisines. But yeah, Korean has more of that authentic, the history of the food culture.
I think the way the Italian food culture has merged with the Australian culture has been complete. Whereas today now you go to a restaurant, a fancy restaurant, and you have antipasta and all these things that we as kids used to feel was embarrassing bringing to school. So it's been a complete turn. Whereas we wanted to eat pies and pasties, and now it's such cultural difference to have the pastas, the pizzas, the antipasta. It's almost like it's been in Australia forever. It's so integrated with it. There's been other food cultures which have done similar. Chinese, Asian, more recently Indian food is making a big influence in that combination. So I think in Australia we're extremely lucky that we can taste different parts of the world. Sometimes a little modified, yes. But I think overall, we have a sensational food culture in Australia now.
适应澳洲这个味道要做一些调整呢，我们老板一直就坚持，就是说要做正宗的川菜，像毛血旺辣子鸡这样的菜，如果你减少了辣椒或减少了麻度，那这个菜吃出来的感觉就不一样。当然，我们还是会做一些调整，但是不是在味道上，我们更多的想说就在那个食材上。我们这边卖的最好的一道菜是香辣羊排。羊肉是澳洲就比较出名的一个菜，我们当时也是看到这个食材，所以就研发了这个香辣羊排。这个羊排的话呢，一年也是卖了30万份，所以这个是一个很好的例子，就是说你要看这个市场上面有什么好的食材，或者大家对于食材的一个需求，也要去做一些创新。
Some of the dishes we have just the taste to suit the local market. However, we also want to keep their authentic flavors because a lot of Australian people or a lot of locals now understand and they're willing to try they're willing to try the authentic, real authentic Korean food. So we're trying to keep our authentic flavors. But some of the dishes, if it's too strong, then we're trying to change a little bit to suit Australian market. Different dishes will have different flavors. That's where we offer them a little bit fusion or the modern Korean, which is less spicy.
There is some change, but very little. I believe are ingredients that a lot of people are familiar with, so we don't have to modify our meals. Sometimes, the way I can explain it, the Italians, when they arrived in Australia, met other Italians from different regions of Italy. And they have their own specialty meals. And I found from my experience, my mother, she would become friendly with other people from different regions. And there'd be a different modification of their meal and our meal. And sometimes that changes, but only because they discovered a different type of meal when they came to Australia. They travelled all around the world to meet other parts.
雇佣这个员工方面的话，首先厨师这边呢，我们还是坚持在四川国内找的当地的四川厨师，因为做出来的菜会比较正宗一点。那服务员这边呢，也尝试过，就找一些 local 的服务员来，就希望还是说跟客人有更好的沟通吧。就说他了解了我们川菜的文化，然后也可以更好的跟 local 的客人去跟他们解释一下这个川菜到底有哪个好吃，然后做法是怎样，这样可以让就我们的外国客人吧，吃了以后就除了吃到味道以外，还知道这个做法或者这个文化在里面是什么。然后我们一直还是相信，就是说，如果客人想吃到正宗的菜，吃到就想说辣菜啊，或者比较麻一点的菜，他们还是愿意过来吃。把这个做正宗了，客人还是会想到哦，我要吃正宗的菜，我就会到蜀香坊这边来。然后因为他们的辣度还是跟国内的有相比。
So we get a lot of Australians, they try once, and they recommend to their friends as well, and they come again. Because a lot of Australians, they tried Japanese, they tried a lot of Vietnamese, but they haven't really experienced Korean food. And it's becoming really popular now, so the local market, we see more of the local people in our restaurant. The Korean food is becoming really popular, as we all know, especially in Australia as well. So we're trying to keep the loyal or like authentic Korean food in all our restaurants. Generally, they're willing to accept the authentic flavors of Korean food, and because they want to learn, they want to experience some of the dishes that you can only taste at Plus 82 Mimi, and which they're willing to take and accept that dishes, which is just normal, like authentic Korean flavors.
澳洲是一个多文化，然后的话呢，你们来到澳洲的话，就可以吃到不同国家的一个餐。由于有不同国家的厨师，可能也会在这，那能吃到的一个肯定正宗一点的一个菜品吧。
Obviously, it's been multicultural country in Australia, so they have different ranges of cuisines, which they're more educated and they understand really well with different cuisines, which is quite good, so that they get to try different food. They get to learn the food culture as well, not just the Australian. It's more the the Asians or Europeans, which is very good to see.
The integration of food into Australia by many countries has been amazing. I myself, because we eat Italian food both at work and at home, we often don't eat Italian when we go out. So I love to explore different foods. Asian, especially Chinese, is one of my favourite. Indian, fantastic with their hot curries. The food in this country is amazing. And in Adelaide, even better, our food. People say, what is Australian food? Well, I think Australian food now is a fusion of the world, just like their people. We come from nearly 200 countries around the world now. So our food reflects that. So we are extremely lucky to be here and experiencing that in our food as well. And food does that, brings people together.
No matter where you come from or where you go, globalization enables everyone to taste delicious food from all over the world in Adelaide. For the people in this century, this is lucky. Every dish, whether from the east or the west, has resumed coexistence in Adelaide. Here is the place of multicultural food, which can be a window of the world.